Charles Johnson, after starting with a dismal 2-4 record and riding a 3-fight losing streak, it felt like the UFC was ready to cut him loose if he dropped another fight. But look at him now, ranked on a 4-fight win streak and stepping into the spotlight. He's proven he's not just a name to skim past. Johnson's story is turning into something special, becoming a father, having a rocky UFC start, and now clawing his way up the rankings. That's the stuff mythical fighters are made of. And hey, his name's Charles, just saying, maybe we've got something brewing here. Let's break this down, keeping it short and simple for a sustainable spotlight series. Early UFC career. Johnson debuted against Muhammad Mokaev, an undefeated prospect. Talk about a tough draw right out of the gate. The UFC didn't make it any easier, throwing 4 undefeated fighters at him in his first 9 fights. Insane. Against Mokaev, he lost via unanimous decision. Next, he edged out a split decision win against Zhalgas Jumagulov, followed by a first-round finish of Jimmy Flick. Though some questioned the stoppage, momentum seemed to finally be building. The 3-fight skid. Then came the slump. Johnson took fights on short notice, 3.5 weeks for Flick, 9 days for Ode Osborne. Losses piled up, including to Cody Durden and Jimmy Crute, both after full camps. These weren't blowouts, but he got beat to key positions. After the Estevan fight, Johnson hit rock bottom, unsure if he'd even remain in the UFC. His manager reassured him Mick Maynard saw potential and would let him fight out his contract. The pressure was on, win or get cut. Turning point. The UFC lined him up against the undefeated debutant Javid Basharat from Kazakhstan. The message was clear, sink or swim. The fight started rough. Johnson got dropped twice in the first round, barely surviving. But he rallied, taking the second and third rounds to secure a razor-thin decision. 1 undefeated prospect down. Climbing back. Next up, Jake Hadley, another undefeated prospect. Charles delivered again, pulling out a win. By now, it seemed like the UFC matchmakers were testing his limits. His most recent fight was against Su Mudaerji, a slight reprieve from the undefeated gauntlet. This fight was razor close, with many calling it a robbery. Johnson edged out rounds 1 and 2, and the judges awarded him the win. Now ranked at 15 in the flyweight division, Johnson finds himself in the mix. The future. Despite his recent success, it feels like the UFC might line him up against another surging prospect, forcing him to defend his low-ranking spot. But Johnson deserves better. He's clawed his way back, proven he can hang, and brought undeniable grit to the table. Here's hoping he gets the chance to climb higher, maybe even into the top 5. A little recognition wouldn't hurt for a guy who's made this much noise in the shadows.